Network of awareness makes your brain coherent. One of the fastest growing podcasts. You can hear it 24/7. Got listeners out in London, informationalists in Paris. The echo spreading out, no parrot. Just dissect, digest, and share it. The righteous rhymes hit the spirit. Click 90 times, it won't perish. Cause y'all's the mind ain't no fairy tale like the fairly odd parents. It's time to rise, don't get wary. United minds, it's apparent. Download every single errand, but most ain't fit to catch it, even if they were Larry. Interviews, the interludes, they enter you, taking you on a journey like no other. It places you in a state of awareness. It's your fault if you hate the truth, cause Yahweh been Yahweh's on his way, my brother. Better change your views. All praise, yeah.
Hello, positive people. You are now tuned in to the Network of Awareness podcast radio station, giving you in-depth information on society and culture in America and abroad, with messages of inspiration, with keen insights, reputable interviews, and much more. So now, without further ado, your host of the Network of Awareness podcast, ORRA, the informationalist.
Peace and greetings, brothers and sisters from around the world. This is ORRA, the informationalist from the Network of Awareness, owner and founder of the Network of Awareness, and your host for today's show of Season 4, Episode 36. Independent from what? And we're going to go in today very, very deep and in depth about the so-called holiday in the United States of America that is very much celebrated, called the 4th of July, which is also representative of Independence Day, or what we consider to be independence. But what is independence and what are we independent from? We're going to discuss that today on the Network of Awareness, amongst other things. And I want to welcome everybody who's going to be coming into the chat room. I see that Sister Brittany from Righteous Creative is in there already. Shalom, sister. Thank you for joining. And we're going to have a big discussion or talk about the long legacy of lies that we've been taught here and that we think are true when it comes to the history of the United States of America. Because as we all know and are coming into a greater understanding of, is that everything we've been taught here in this country, better known as corporation, is all based on lies. And I'm going to discuss some of these lies that we've been taught in history lessons about how America came to be. And it's very important that we understand these things, because the more we understand the lies, the better we can understand the truth that really is, opposed to what we've been told to be considered true. So I want to welcome everybody to today's show. episode 36 of season 4. Season 4 is unconditional salvation. Now, first, let me start off by giving you people a couple of updates and talking about a couple of things here in regards to the network of awareness. First is that now when you download the show, and I mean any show on the network, it's not just my show, it's Passion Pursues Purpose podcast, it's the Righteous Rap Academy from Take 101 with Oxakai from Oxakai, also Imperial U Life podcast from Billy Illy Irizarry. And when you listen to the shows now, you're going to hear a theme song. And that theme song is the jingle or radio jingle for A1 Career Services. And I would like to say this show is brought to you by A1 Career Services, where opportunity begins. Now, if you are a business, company, or entrepreneur that is looking for employees to fill positions in roles in your company or organization, definitely contact Danita Britton at A1 Career Services. And you can find A1 Career Services on the web. And also, you can contact Danita directly at A1 Career Services. Now, also, if you are looking for a job, you can contact A1 Career Services if you're looking for a job remotely, virtually, or some even in person if you're looking to start a new career. So the new sponsor for the Network of Awareness is A1 Career Services with Danita Britton. So that's what this show is brought to you by. Now that I got that out the way, you're going to be hearing the radio jingle from Danita Britton's A1 Career Services on every single show. So whenever you download it, it will be in the pre-roll. So that is the very first thing you're going to hear when you turn on any of the shows within the Network of Awareness, because now the Network of Awareness as a whole is being sponsored by A1 Career Services, where opportunity begins. Next thing on the agenda is, I just want to say, brothers and sisters, thank you for so much for sending me all these emails in regards to the format in which you want to hear the Network of Awareness. And it's something that I'm paying close attention to and I'm going to adhere to because I want to serve my peoples, my supporters. And a lot of emails that I've been getting throughout the weeks is that basically people have been asking for me to have more dialogue on my show, more content of what I'm presenting on my podcast, meaning that they want to hear less music and more ORRA the informationalist. And I say, let's do it. So from here on out, for the exception of Fridays, which is Faith Over Fear Fridays, I'm going to be playing a lot less music on my shows, people. So for all of you that like the music, I do apologize, but you're going to have to wait until Friday because I'm not going to play that much music on Monday through Thursday. Doesn't mean I'm not going to play no music at all. Just means I'm going to be playing a lot less, way less than what I was playing before. Normally, I would play anywhere from 20 to 35 minutes of music throughout a two-hour show. I'm now going to take that to probably 5 to 10, if that. And it's going to be spread out. And it's just because people prefer to hear my voice and the things that I have to talk about in regards to the particular subjects that I bring up. So that's what I'm going to do, because I think they're right in the sense that people want more content than music. Even though this is somewhat of a radio show, it's more of a society and culture and social sciences show. And that is my specialty, and that's what I stick to. And speaking of that, for the past 2 months, I've been focusing a lot on spirituality. I've been focusing on how universal principles are superpowers. I've been focusing on how we need to get more connected to the Most High by understanding who we truly are and things of that nature. And I had a great time in giving out that type of information. But I think now it's time to go back to the meat and potatoes of what the network of awareness represents, which is society and culture and social sciences, which also means that I'm going to go back into discussing many things in regards to the science appliance, many things in regards to the pandemic, and things that are affecting the society and culture here in America, and some of the things that are affecting society and culture abroad, but mostly in America, because that is my specialty. And because I am a messenger for the Most High, it is time that we start focusing on social sciences. And that's where I started at, and that's where I'm coming back to, because that is my specialty. So for all of you that enjoyed the past 2 months of shows that were focusing on spirituality, you got a good dose of it. Now it's time to go back to where it all began and, do it the way I do. And ain't nobody doing it like I've been doing it. That's one of the reasons why I've been shadow banned. I had mentioned on the show with Sister Brittany last week, Friday, of why I've been shadow banned. I didn't go too deep into it. But when you're talking, I was talking about how, when it came to the science appliance, how HIV and AIDS was related to this. Now everybody and their mother's talking about it. I was the one that back in 2020 was talking about how the consent forms and all of the things that they were introducing into these consent forms when it comes to adverse reactions. I was presenting that information, which I got censored for. Nobody was talking about that. Now everybody and their mother wants to talk about all the adverse reactions and the batches that contribute to these adverse reactions. So many different things in regards to the pandemic that I was introducing, even in regards to how the pandemic came to be and the strategy behind it. And when I started talking about these things, places like YouTube and other places were flagging me left and right. And that's one of the only reasons, if not the only reason, why I am censored so much and shadow banned so much. Because when you're going as deep as I went with this stuff, it's not so much what I was talking about, it's the type of effect that it's having on the minds of those that are listening. And that's what the powers of these oligarch dark forces don't want, is they don't want people knowing the truth in a way that they can completely understand. That's why people like myself, who are true messengers of the Most High, get blocked, because in Satan realm, it's not so much about the type of influence you have, but it's the influence that you have and what it causes. Those are the people that are real problems. And I know this to be true because even in person, I was very successful in getting people to take a completely different course in how they approached and looking at this pandemic, as well as those that were going to get the science appliance, based on my information, decided not to even touch it, which I say all praise to the Most High for that. All right, people, because my SEO is very high on Google, but at the same time, I'm shadow banned by them and also censored. And that is still sticking to today. And I hope and pray that the TV network is going to allow people to get that unadulterated, uncensored information and then do with it as they will. So that's the updates I wanted to give in regards to the network of awareness, because this is a powerful platform, people, and it's not just me. but I made major contributions to this platform to make it a powerhouse of informative, valid, constructive information that requires critical thinking in order for it to be fully appreciated. Now, if you are not a critical thinker, this is probably not the platform for you, because this platform is solely for critical thinkers. And critical thinkers can come in all shapes and sizes and pigmentations. I don't discriminate against anybody, because at the end of the day, we are all spiritual beings having a physical experience. And no one person is better than the other in the network of awareness. And the network of awareness is all about recognizing the true value of the human spirit. And the true value of the human spirit doesn't have any color. It just has energy. And either that energy is malevolent or benevolent. That energy is either positive or negative. And either that energy you're bringing is good or it's bad. It's either wicked or it's either righteous, and there's no in between. And this is the type of network that's going to support the most positive, righteous, benevolent energy that also requires critical thinking and common sense, because we're all about a common sense approach about the realities here in America, in the United Serpents of America, because this is a country and a corporation that is run solely by serpents. Now, with that being said, brothers and sisters, another thing I want to mention is I'm so grateful that my podcast is influencing other podcasters to want to do better and wanting to have the same type of energy that the network of awareness is conveying. So salute to all you podcasters that are using my structure and my templates as a form of inspiration to step up your games in the podcast industry. And I give all the praises to the Most High for that, for this gift that I've been given, and for this gift that I was using back in 2006 as an executive producer and radio personality. So for all you that don't know, I've been doing this for a long time. I just took a hiatus, but I am not a spring chicken. I may be a spring chicken in regards to podcasting as far as time goes. I've only been doing this for 2 years under the Spreaker platform. But when it comes to radio, I've been doing it for a long time, and I've developed a lot of skills, and I already had a talent for it. And I came into it pretty clean and learned a lot. So a lot of what you hear is a long history of work that has been compiled for me to do this type of work that I'm doing now, called the network of awareness. So if you are somebody that's interested, because I know there's a couple of people that have hit me up that want to start their podcasts. And there's even a couple of people that I'm helping. And like I always tell the people that I'm helping, or some of the people that I've coached, I've even coached Brother Oxacad with the Alpha Talk series and now 101 with Oxacad. One of the things I say is, have a purpose in what you're doing when podcasting. That's the most important thing. Know what the purpose of why you're podcasting in the first place. Number 2, don't look to make a lot of money. Don't focus on money when podcasting, especially in the beginning, because then you're not going to be successful at it. And number 3 is have structure. If you have a particular subject that you are going to talk about on a show, stick to that topic and go into the topic instead of talking about something completely different that has no correlation to the topic that you were supposed to discuss, because that's not how you gain listeners. And that's just a few tips from me in regards to people that are looking to get into podcasting. And hopefully we're going to have a new podcaster on the network of awareness that will cover a particular category. All right, brothers and sisters. So with that being said, independent from what? Episode 36, right? So, brothers and sisters, a lot of us have been taught that when it comes to the United States of America, that this country was formed by the great founding fathers. What a crock of shit, right? Ain't no such thing as no fucking founding fathers. You can't find something that's already been found, and it wasn't by you. Now, we're going to stick to some of the textbook stuff. Now, when it comes to textbook stuff, remember this. The Illuminati families, the 13 bloodline families of the serpent bloodline, one of the main ones is the Rothschilds, who are of Bavarian descent. These are some of the most wicked serpentine families in the world. It is this very family that dictates a lot of the doctrine that many of us had grew up, and even our children present day are growing up reading and being taught that this is all true. Now, if you've never heard my show, Legacy of Lies, the first one with Walter Reed, check it out, because Walter Reed breaks down how the Declaration of Independence was not written by the founding fathers. It was actually written by the indigenous tribes that was given to the European Caucasian man to utilize as a blueprint and template to form what was later called the Declaration of Independence, and then put into what's called the Constitution of the United States. And see, brothers and sisters, we really have to understand this, because when it comes to the so-called, and I say so-called white man because there is no such thing as white. There is no such thing as black. There is no such thing as race. See, race was a social construct, which I'm going to break down later on into the week. I'm going to do a show called The Con in Social Constructs. But when it comes to the social construct of race, there is no such thing. See, back in the days of antiquity, it was nothing but melanated people. Melanated people didn't know what race was because it was just melanated people. All right. It wasn't until the Caucasoid man and the European man came with this inferiority complex, which later turned into a superiority construct of race. And people need to really understand this, because I know a lot of people think that race does exist, but it really doesn't. It does not. Even the scriptures talks about it. There's no such thing as race. There's only regions. There's regions of people, right? But there is no such thing as race. But because in this country it's been pushed down our throats so much, we start to believe this bullshit. And that's why I have this network, is so that you can know the truth behind these fucking lies that we've been taught. We have to understand the lie to better understand what the truth is. Because if we don't know we're being lied to, how can we ever discover the truth? Because we're going to believe that the lie is the truth. It is the truth. And that's what this country is all about. It's all about believing a bunch of bullshit lies, a long legacy of it. See, this is what we're taught. On July 4th, 1776, the delegates of 13 colonies officially adopted the Declaration of Independence and ended British rule. Wrong. British rule never ended. British rule is still going on today. Mother England, Great Britain, is still mother to this country. It still runs this country. And this country still answers to Great Britain, to present day. That's why when you see every president, including, they made a big deal about it with the Obamas, but every single president, if you notice, bows to the Queen. Why? Because they are still subservient to the Queen. Now, many of 4th of July pastimes have emerged over the centuries. Watching fireworks, attending baseball games, and flying red and white and blue flags. I say fuck the American flag. American flag means shit to me, people. American flag is nothing but a representation of manipulation, torture, rape, deceit, and any other low negative behavior or vibration you can possibly think of. That's all this flag represents. It means nothing. It is bullshit, people. Stop putting so much emphasis on a fucking flag, okay, that doesn't give a fuck about you. We put too much emphasis on material things to represent something, but we don't put that much emphasis into the Most High. And that's where the fuckery begins. Now, speaking of this, let's cover a couple of things in regards to the history of the 4th of July. Now, one of the things that's interesting is that Thomas Jefferson died on the 4th of July. He died July 4th, 1826, which is the 50th anniversary of the signing of the Declaration of Independence. And it's interesting because 3 other presidents died, or 2 other presidents died on the 4th of July, which I find very interesting. Very, very interesting. Now, give me 1 second because I want to pull up some information here. And of course, give me a second because now I'm getting that static again. It's interesting how when I start talking about certain subjects, I get this static every once in a while. So give me 1 second, folks. I'm just going to fix something here on my system. Let me play some music while I do that. All right, so still getting the static. So let me unplug my audio interface and I'll be right back. All right, so, okay. Yes. No. All right, I'm gonna try to make this work. Hopefully it won't be too bad. If it gets really bad, I might have to unplug it and plug it back in. Give me 1 second. Let me do that now because it's like faking me out. It's making me think that it's worked and now it doesn't. Give me 1 second. All righty, let's go. Okay, much better. All right, here we go. So, as I was saying, 2 other presidents died on the 4th of July, right? So I want to talk about that briefly. And I just want to pull that up here. So, there's a strange connection to the holidays when it comes to the 4th of July. There's 3 presidents that died on the day. And they say, and this is according to, this is according to Google. It says 3 presidents died And conspiracists believe that this fact is more than just a coincidence. And the other two presidents besides Thomas Jefferson is John Adams and James Monroe, who all died on the 4th of July. Now, I just bring that up because when it comes to Masonic orders, a lot of times their deaths are very calculated. And it could be a coincidence, but many of us know there is no such thing as coincidence. Give me 1 second, folks. All right. Hopefully this doesn't keep happening to me, but it is what it is. This is the type of shit I deal with every once in a while, especially when I'm talking about, serious topics. If I was talking about, what happened to R. Kelly or what's going to happen to R. Kelly, I bet you none of this shit would be happening. But we all know that there is no such thing as coincidence. And I think that there is a correlation in the deaths of these three presidents when it comes to this day. Also, another fun fact about the 4th of July is that we are taught that on July 2nd of 1776, the Continental Congress voted in favor of independence from Great Britain and formally adopted Declaration of Independence on July 4th, right? Celebrations would ensue, and the firework tradition was established on the first anniversary. Now, something I want to connect to all this. A lot of you know the Star-Spangled Banner. Now, what you may not know about the Star-Spangled Banner is that it was held for quite some time as being the national anthem. And a lot of it is because it's very racially, if that's even, we all know that that's a big lie, but racially driven. Give me 1 second, folks. I'm going to have to fix this issue. And let's see if I could do it while still playing music. Give me 1 second.
You think you'll be able to get to that point? Or do you think for the rest of your rap career, you're still gonna just always be in that aggressive?
All right, I'm back. I think we fixed the problem. At least I'm hoping we did. Jeez. The shit that I go through. All right. So in regards to the Spangled Banner, brothers and sisters, it was held for a long time because of the hatred within the song. And I want to shed some light on that. Now, what's interesting about this, and I don't know what's going on here, but I'm going to try to work through this issue as much as possible. Because sometimes this happens, but not this consistent when it comes to the static. So I do apologize if you hear some static behind my words. I don't know what's going on. But It's not a coincidence when I tell you, brothers and sisters, how when I get shadow banned for some of the stuff I talk about, stuff like this just starts to happen out of nowhere, where it's just like the static, I'll have little problems here and there. But we're going to get this show. We're going to get this out the way. We're not going to lose focus on this. So when it comes to the Star Spangled Banner, brothers and sisters, a lot of people don't know that there's a third verse. Okay? I'm going to read to you the third verse, and then I'm going to give the breakdown on what it really represents. So this is how the third verse goes. It says, "And where is it that band who is so violently swore that the havoc of war and the battle's confusion, a home and a country should leave us no more?" Now pay attention to these words. "Their blood has washed out their foul footsteps pollution. No refuge could save the hireling and slave from the terror of flight or the gloom of the grave, and the star-spangled banner in triumph dot wave, or the land of the free and the home of the brave." What does that mean? Now, here's the real reason and the real truth behind this, and why it was held as a national anthem for over a century. So, it was September 1814, when the British had sacked Washington and torched the White House. The conflict became known as the War of 1812. And even though it was in the third year, the British had taken prisoners, including a popular doctor from Prince George's County in Maryland. A friend of the doctor sailed on a ship flying a truce flag to negotiate a prisoner exchange with the Royal Navy. The mission was successful. British commanders agreed to free the doctor, but while on the ship, the man, a 35-year-old lawyer named Francis Scott Key, right, the writer of the Star-Spangled Banner, overheard plans for a surprise attack on Baltimore. He and the doctor would not be allowed to leave until the attack was over. That's how Francis Scott Key ended up witnessing the bombardment of Fort McHenry while aboard a British ship. He couldn't tell from his vantage point who had won or lost, but at dawn, he saw the American flag, 15 stars to be exact, and 15 stripes at that time, still waving over the fort, and was inspired to write a poem about it. Soon, it was to set the tune of an existing song. That's the short version of how the Star-Spangled Banner came to be. Give me 1 second, folks. I'm going to try to plug this into a different port here because I'm getting really irritated by this. Give me 1 second. Okay. I'm hoping this does a little bit better. And if that does the trick, hopefully we don't have to deal with this bullshit no more. So, as I was saying, at that time, it was 15 stars and 15 stripes. He wrote a poem that became this existing song. That's the short version of how the Star-Spangled Banner came to be. But this is the true story behind it, okay? Both the song and the story of the man who wrote it reveals not only why it has become controversial now in this season of racial reckoning, football and presidential campaigning, but why it is too controversial to become the national anthem for more than a century. First of all, brothers and sisters, this country, and I've talked about this many times before, this country was built off of nothing but hatred. There's nothing positive when it comes to the inception of what we know as the United States of America. And because of that, a lot of people in this country believe that this country was built off of some grand illusion of peace and prosperity and liberty. When most of us know, especially those that are considered in this country to be minorities or melanated people, and you've heard me say before, a minority is not a person of color. A minority is a person who holds the minority of wealth in this country. That is a minority. That's what the word comes from, minority of wealth. It has nothing to do with your skin complexion. I don't care how many fucking times they tell you that shit in the news. Nothing to do with it. But that is what this country represents. It's all about telling you one thing, but really it means something completely else. The problem is that most people in this country, 90% of us, believe in the bullshit and they run with it. And if you keep saying a lie over and over again for so long, people are going to accept that lie as the truth. That's the psychology 101. And it's no different when it comes to the inception of this country. Now, I'm going to go back to finishing this story about Francis Scott Key and what this song represents. And there's a reason it's all going to come together on why I'm even bringing this up when it comes to this bullshit holiday, this pagan holiday called the 4th of July. Now, when it comes to the War of 1812, one of the main issues was that the British practice of impressment, the forced constriction or conscription of American sailors to fight in the Royal Navy. Plus, the British promised refuge to any enslaved black person who escaped their enslavers, raising fears amongst white Americans of a large-scale revolt. Doesn't that sound familiar? Something that same type of mindset, think about this, that same type of mindset that existed over 200 years ago is no different than the very mindset of many so-called white Americans today. They are in constant fear that all of the atrocities that their family bloodlines have invested in when it comes to the history of this country is somehow going to come back to bite them in the ass. But little do they know that what's going to bite them in the ass is not going to come from man. It's going to come from the Most High. And some of them are already experiencing that present day in their death, in the afterlife. It says that the final provocation was that men who escaped their bonds of slavery were welcomed to join the British Corps of colonial Marines in exchange for land after their service. And people, I'm going to tell you something. Normally, the best thing for me to do is to stop the broadcast and start it all over again, but I'm not going to do that. And I'm just noticing no matter what I do, I'm getting this bullshit static for whatever fucking reason. But I'm going to keep it moving. I'm going to try to work through this shit. So, the promise for refuge to any black people who escaped their enslavers, right? Now, the British Corps of Colonial Marines, which, believe it or not, at that time, is like, this is how they treated black people. Black people were treated like shit. The only time they weren't treated like shit is when they needed you to serve their cause. Doesn't that sound familiar today? It's no different, people. History winds up repeating itself. So as many as 4,000 people, mostly from Virginia and Maryland, escaped. Boy, this is some bullshit. We're going to keep it moving, people. I do apologize for this. So, it is important to know that these things, because the Star Spangled Banner was originally called the Defense of Fort McHenry, has more than one verse. And the second half of the third verse ended, like I said, which is these key words here. No refuge can save the hireling and slave from the terror of flight or the gloom of the grave. See, when it comes to the history of this country, the history of this country was the fact that it was built off the backs of slaves, which I don't even like using the term slaves, because even though melanated people were enslaved, they weren't slaves. They were just people that were captured and used as slaves. But we have to understand that these people come from greatness. And the reason why they were enslaved, as we all know in scriptures, is because they didn't abide by the covenant and they had to serve their recompensation, so to speak. And what I'm going to do here, just so that we can alleviate some of this, is I'm going to try to take another stab at this in trying to fix this problem so we don't keep hearing me all staticky. So I want to thank all the brothers and sisters that are in the chat room that haven't left, because normally, this is not good. Give me 1 second. I'm going to try to fix it one more time, and hopefully we don't have no problems here. Give me 1 second. All right. Hopefully we can get through a show without there being too much fuckery. So as I mentioned, when it comes to the Star Spangled Banner, this was a representation of all of the wickedness that was bestowed upon the people that were enslaved here. Now, you've heard me say this before too. It wasn't just people brought here on the ships. Many of the people that were enslaved here were already here. And when you do a history check on the logs, a lot of the people that were enslaved already lived in what's now called the Americas and throughout the Atlantic coast. When it comes to the islands that we now know as Cuba and Haiti and Trinidad and West Indies and Puerto Rico and Dominican Republic and so on and so forth. Now, the Star Spangled Banner, going back to this, right? The lyrics are in clear reference to the colonial Marines. According to Jefferson Morley, he's the author of Snow Dash Storm in August, Washington City, Francis Scott Key, and the Forgotten Race Riot of 1835. They are clearly meant to scorn and threaten African Americans who took up the British on their offer. And he wrote in an essay for the Washington Post, it says, Key surely knew about the colonial Marines, and it is even possible he saw them amongst the contingent of British ships that sailed into the Baltimore harbor. But Mark Clegg, a musicologist at the University of Michigan and an expert on the anthem, disagrees. In 2016, he told the New York Times, the reference to slaves is about the use and in some sense the manipulation of Black Americans to fight for the British with the promise of freedom. He also noted that Black people fought on the American side of the war as well. Now, whether manipulation or not, the British kept their word to colonial Marines after the war, refusing the United States' demand that they be returned and providing them land in Trinidad and Tobago to resettle with their families. Shout outs to all the brothers and sisters in Trinidad and Tobago who listen to my show. I see y'all. Now, their descendants that are called Americans still live there today. So anybody who's from Trinidad, Tobago can attest to this. The Americans still live there today. Americans, that's spelled Merikins. Now, even if these lyrics aren't meant to be explicitly racist, he clearly was. Ain't that the fucking truth? He descended from a wealthy plantation family and enslaved people. Now, I want you to really understand this. This is why I say, fuck America. People, we have to disconnect ourselves spiritually from this place. We have to disconnect ourselves from the doctrines that we've been taught in order to truly be connected to something more meaningful, especially when it comes to this country. And I say that because when you stand up and you put your hand on your chest and this song plays, and some of you even start fucking crying, right? Especially when Whitney Houston sang it. We're giving veneration and energy to the satanic demonic entity that brought forth the demise of our people. And here is a man whose family bloodline was intricate in the slave trade and in the abuse, manipulation, and torture and rape of so-called Black people in America. This is the guy who wrote this poem. He didn't give a fuck about Black people. So, I salute all the brothers and sisters that don't like to stand up for that shit, that don't take off their hat and all that other bullshit that they tell you should do to give, respect. Like, why am I going to give respect to my fucking killer, to my hater, to the person who doesn't want to see me breathing, to the same energy and force and entity that thinks that I am lesser of them, that I am subhuman, that I am 3/5 of a human being? I say, fuck that bullshit. Now, Francis Scott Key spoke of Black people as a distinct and inferior race And he supported emancipating the enslaved only if they were immediately shipped to Africa, according to Morley. Now, during the Andrew Jackson administration, right, they said that a lot of people said that Donald Trump was a reincarnation of Andrew Jackson. Yeah, right. I think that all of them are fucking wicked. There ain't no reincarnations. They're all fucking just connected. But that's another episode for another day. Now, during the Andrew Jackson administration, Andrew Scott Key, served as the district attorney for Washington, D.C., where he spent much of his time shoring up enslavers' power. Doesn't that sound familiar? It's no different from the lobbyists that are lobbying for all these laws to protect so-called white supremacy. Because we all know there ain't nothing supreme about so-called whiteness or so-called white people in America. Ain't nothing supreme about them. He strictly enforced these laws and prosecuted abolitionists who passed out pamphlets mocking his jurisdiction as the land of the free and home of the oppressed. He also influenced Jackson to appoint his brother-in-law Chief Justice of the United States. Now, you may have heard of him. His name was Roger B. Taney. He is infamous for writing the Dred Scott decision that decreed Black people had no rights, which the white man was bound to respect. A statue of Taney and a school named after Key has been recently subjects of scrutiny during the protests following the police killings of George Floyd. Now, although the Star-Spangled Banner and all of his verses were immediately famous, Key's overt racism prevented it from becoming the national anthem while he was alive. There was no official anthem. Many people chose to sing other songs like My Country, 'Tis of Thee. Key's anthem gained popularity over time, particularly amongst post-Reconstruction white Southerners and the military. Isn't that interesting? See, this is the real history of this country, people. These are all the things that they like to leave out when it comes to the history of the United Shenanigans and Serpents of America. And it doesn't surprise me that during the Reconstruction, white Southerners and the military wanted this song to be played. And isn't it interesting that it is still played to this very day and people fucking revere this song? I piss on that fucking song. It ain't shit to me. I think they should burn it and be done away with it. And you know what? They won't. But when this country falls, as it will, sooner than later, we won't have to worry about this type of bullshit ever again. And I'm looking forward to that day. But let's continue. In the early 20th century, all but the first verses were cut out, but for their racism, but for their anti-British bent, the United Kingdom was by then an ally. And let me tell you something, people, the United Kingdom, the British Empire has always been an ally. It's been under this country's been under their rule. This is all a big illusion that this country defected from British rule. It was all to gain a whole nother country and to create another system of rule that was introduced here. If you look at the United States and you look at Great Britain, they're both run the same way. They just have different names. That's all they did. It's the same fucking face though. Parliament and the Senate and Congress is the same shit. They even go and conduct their meetings and forums in the same manner. The only difference is that in Great Britain, they wear fucking wigs. And over here, they wear their suits with their fucking crew cuts. But it's no difference. especially when it comes to the judicial system. It's all the same shit. It's just a fucking different toilet in which that shit goes down. The toilet looks different, but the shit stays the same. Now, after the misery of World War I, the lyrics were gained controversial for their violence. But groups like the United Daughters of the Confederacy fought back, pushing for the song to be made the official national anthem of the United Serpents of America. And in 1931, President Herbert Hoover, another fucking demon, made it so. Quote, the elevation of the banner from popular song to official national anthem was a neo-Confederate political victory, and it was celebrated as such, Morley wrote. When supporters threw a victory parade in Baltimore in June 1931, the march was led by a color guard hoisting the Confederate flag. Enough said. Now, let's take a brief intermission because I do have to play a couple of songs of brothers who, pay for spins. And, even though I'm going to be playing less music, there are songs I have to play. So what this song I'm going to play, and then I'll be back. Many of you have heard it before. Some of you are not. It's called The Seventh Seal Cipher. So let's play that song real quick, and I'll be right back.
Here we are back again, about to drop some facts again. Yahweh's word spreads like a vicious net for capturing those with an ear to listen, those who paid attention, those who stand bold like a soldier with their convictions, not quick to fold or throw in the towel when under pressure. They walk it like they talk it, they live the message, but depression's what most folks are facing. They got the vaccination, we in zombie land, pretty soon we gon' have to dance. Better keep that sword in your body, bam, place this far from the game. Babylon will burn down and blame. Some deaths are better off real slow, so you can witness the pain. You tortured slaves, 400 plus years of pain. Hung brothers up in the trees, swinging for days and days. Now this is your end of days, you looking so disarrayed. Try to cover your ears, but the truth still gon' penetrate. The hatred is strong, but races still want to imitate and integrate. Only Yahweh's chosen holy nation can ever be this great.
Yahweh's amazing. Before I eat, I'm saying my graces. I pray for knowledge and wisdom and peace. We dwell in greatness. 144,000 frequencies and vibrations. So don't give me amp. Go take a hike and camp like concentrations. Pull up my pants, it's in my jeans to elevate genetics. I'm concentrating, no recess to dominate recessives. No car insurance, the way I swerve, they be like impressive. Stephanie Courtney know my flow is looking more progressive. My aura is a network full of awareness and gifts like ORRA, the informationalist. Shout out my brother, take one. All these chances in life, don't hesitate and wait to take one. We are the true Jews, about to take off. Hitler knows we don't play soft. I pull up and let like 8 off. Watch a demon head splatter, give me back my platter that y'all just ate off.
Yo, remember what we talked about building something special as 1/3? Well, I feel like we're finally here. A righteous Wall Street, bro. Yes, sir, let's get it.
All praise to the Most High, this is only the beginning. Righteously preparing, raising our awareness. The social engineering, just faithful forbearing. Salute to those faith in it, kings and queens creating it. That's people awakening, 2/3 be forsaking him. 1/3 keeps on praising him, putting all my faith in him. Most people be faking it, munching on some bacon bits. Ignorance remains in bliss. In this life I came to win, righteousness I'm living in. Truth is the enlightenment, Yahweh's the embodiment of peace and redefinement. Elohim is in the science, go grown out for lions. Raising the horizons, frequency just heightens. Spirit always brightens, no fear can ever frighten. A man on the mission, living out his visions. True to the tradition, gaining all the wisdom. To be freed from the prison, transition with God's mercy. With the early worthy, realist, righteous visionaries.
Too many Many people live their life in sin. You gotta change your life before the very end. The signs of the times and we know it's coming. But I walk in this light of to and fro, you'll be running. See, I choose to serve Yahweh Elohim instead of pursue a life of finer things. So break free from vanity, iniquity, depravity, to free yourself from death and all calamity. Yeah.
Yahweh's with me, I be walking in my truth. I overcame my struggles, I'm the living proof. The truth's a weapon, just put it to good use. You can hang a lie by the neck, something like a noose. Y'all favor me, the real one, cause I'm a visionary. Committed to the truth, exposed to lies like a visionary. Tell them that the world that we live in is fucking crazy, so don't be moving shady, y'all's protecting his people.
The world is trying to back me up against the wall like a cat. Guess what? I'm clawing out of that. Big facts. Guaranteed no pussies over here. When it all goes down, I'm negating all fear. You hear? Lend me your ear like a homeless man asking for $1. The irony in that 2/3 are going to holler, cause it's not gonna work shit. You dead, put your body in the ditch if your ass cannot handle it. The elites is playing with us, call it Squid Games. You decide if you want your brains falling on your lap and let the rats eat it. Just to be safe, no honor in that. I'd rather be with killers that spit facts. You would never see me selling my ass for some cash. Hollywood is gonna burn down and crash. I'm a bit excited about this. No tear dropping when it really ends. It's going to hit like Goku fist. Good demons cannot block this.
Ain't it funny how we went from whips and chains? Now the only thing we sing about is our whips and platinum chains. Instead of seeking the Most High, they'd rather seek the fame. So what's changed? They tried voting, they tried marching, and a damn thing changed. We still got burned and hung from a tree. Now you want to be a Mason of the 33rd degree. Yahweh never died on a cross, he died on a tree. So what's changed? I tell you what's changed. Now we know the truth. Hebrews are the chosen people, and Judah is the proof. Shalom, Barakatah, and salute.
The informationalist. Nothing like this. Stage Screen Radio TV.
You are now tuned in to the network of awareness.
Okay, we are back. Now, something that's interesting is that, as I've said many times before, the United States of America is nothing but a long legacy of lies. And the fact of the matter is that the Declaration of Independence was not signed on July 4th of 1776. Okay, it wasn't signed on that day. We all know that. Now, something else that is interesting, and this comes from Frederick Douglass. There's an infamous speech by Frederick Douglass in regards to the 4th of July. Now, I'm not going to read the whole speech, but I'll read an excerpt from it. And in that speech, he says, "What to the American slave is your 4th of July? I answer, a day that reveals to him more than all other days in the year the gross injustice and cruelty to which he is the constant victim." Woo! I'm going to read that one again. What to the American slave is your 4th of July? I answer, a day that reveals to him more than all other days in the year the gross injustice and cruelty to which he is the constant victim. That reigns true to present day. And Frederick Douglass titled The Meaning of July 4th for the Negro. So true. It's so true, people, because that very hatred that this country was founded on, the very malice and the very ill intent in which brought forth this demonic realm, this demonic place known as the United States of America, is a representation of the gross injustice and cruelty to which all so-called black men and women and children were victimized of this gross, fucked up treatment. So I salute you brothers and sisters that don't support this holiday, also known as a holiday, because there's nothing to fucking celebrate. It's like, what are you going to celebrate your own demise for? It's the same thing like my godfather told me years ago, who's a medicine man in 3 different continents, one for the Congo tribe, one for a tribe in South America, which I forgot the name of them, and also for the Borican tribe in what is now called Puerto Rico. And he told me, he said, I don't fucking celebrate no Thanksgiving. He said, if I was to celebrate Thanksgiving, I'm celebrating my own destruction. I'm celebrating the destruction of my peoples. And I'm not going to do that. And it's no different than celebrating this day, people. That's why it's very important that when people say, oh, you don't celebrate Thanksgiving? Oh, you don't celebrate Christmas? No, I don't celebrate fucking Nimrod Day. I don't celebrate his birthday. I don't celebrate his day. I don't fucking put no ornaments on no damn fucking tree. Oh, you don't celebrate the 4th of July? No. Why am I going to support something that is not really for me? But most people don't want to take the time to understand the truth because it's easier to embrace the lie. Now, speaking of fireworks, right? Because fireworks has always been a big fucking deal on this day. And I'm not going to lie, people. When I was a kid, I like my little sparklers. Remember the sparklers you light up, you know what I'm saying? And you toss them and shit as they get lower and lower. I used to have fun doing that shit. Firecrackers. I used to put firecrackers inside the G.I. Joes. So if somebody got captured because I used to take G.I. Joes serious as fuck. You know, I used to do all types of strategies and have them all camouflaged. I used to dig little manholes and have them into their man spider holes and have their guns pointed out sand and all types of shit I used to do. Have them hanging from trees. And one of the things I used to do is I used to put the firecrackers in their stomach and blow them up. So if you were captive, if you were a prisoner of war, I used to light up that fucking firecracker and blow you up. I used to do it with the toys that I didn't like, the G.I. Joes I didn't like that much. And shout outs to all the brothers that know what I'm talking about when it comes to G.I. Joes. And some of the sisters, because it was very shocking. I actually know some girls that are in my same age group that used to play with G.I. Joes too. Little tomboys. But back to the topic at hand. When it comes to fireworks, this is something else that I came across in my research. It says in the tradition of fireworks of the 4th of July came from the 1777 celebration in Philadelphia. A ship fired a 13-gun salute to honor the 13 colonies, and the Sons of Liberty set off fireworks over Boston Common. Now, this 13-gun salute, I believe, is something that they do during death. When they do their funeral inaugurations or whatever, right? When police officers die too, they do the gun blast. Why? Because this country is very representative of the gun. It is the gun that helped the Caucasian man win all his battles because he couldn't do it by hand-to-hand combat. When he did it by hand-to-hand combat, he always lost. This is another fraction or portion of history that they don't tell you about. See, a lot of people want you to think that the melanated people that lived throughout the islands, they were just some fucking bitches. And that's not the case. A lot of conquistadors, which were Spaniards, a lot of northerners that came from all different areas of Europe, when they came here, they got fucked up. It's just a fact, people. They were being slaughtered left and right. And the only time that they didn't get slaughtered is when our people revered them to be somewhat godlike because they had certain things. And because many of our people were so spiritual, we had this code that we stood by that we were so loyal to, and they used that against us. But if many of you never heard the story of San Diego, who was a Spaniard that was raping and fucking up people left and right in the islands of Borican and of the Dominican Republic, when they drowned his ass, they waited 7 days to see if he would rise from the dead because they thought they were immortal at one point. But once they realized that these fuckfaces weren't immortal, oh boy, was it a whole different story throughout all of the Caribbean. A whole different story. That is a story that will never tell you. When they found out that San Diego was no longer immortal or was never immortal to begin with, they realized that all the European conquistadors weren't immortal. And that was it. They fucked them up. This is the stuff they don't tell you. A lot of European conquerors or so-called conquerors and soldiers or warriors, they got taken out, people. Taken out. A lot of them. I would say even millions. But this is stuff they won't tell you. They're just going to tell you that, hey, Europe came here and just started sunning everybody. And that's not how it happened. But that's what they tell you in this long legacy of lies. Because they have to uphold. See, the thing is, the reason why we're told so many lies, people, is that this idealism, this idea of white supremacy has to be made to be looked at as real, like it's actually something that's real. And in order to make it look real, you have to have a history that supports that. And that's why a lot of our history is so distorted, so that it can support this illusion of so-called white supremacy. And it's no different, fast forward, with the 4th of July. The 4th of July is a big illusion to make you believe that this country is so great and that so many men and women fought so hard for you to have the freedom and liberty that you have today, which many of us that are in this truth know that there is no such thing as freedom and liberty in the United Serpents of America. But they want you to believe that. I actually stopped being friends with a friend that I grew up with because of this. You ever had people in the military? Maybe some of you have friends and family. What's some of the first thing that some of these derelicts that have been in the military tell you? Oh, I keep you safe at night. Because of me, you sleep well because I keep you safe. Get the fuck out of here. No, you keep the special interests of the 13 Illuminati bloodline families safe. You keep their special interest safe. You don't keep me fucking safe. The Most High keeps me safe, you fuckface. That's what keeps me safe, not you. I stopped being friends. This is a friend I grew up with that I love dearly. But after he was talking that shit, you know what I'm saying? Because he was in the Air Force and he had a direct connect to the presidents through the Red Hotline. And, he was in special intelligence and all that shit. He was like, oh, I keep you safe. Get the fuck out of here. You don't keep me safe. And for all you people in the military that really believe that bullshit, you are so delusional, man. Wake up from your fucking slumber. You are not keeping us safe. What keeps our brothers and sisters safe in this truth is strictly the Most High, and there is no other entity, force on the face of this planet or outside of this planet that does that but the Most High. Remember that, brothers and sisters. The military doesn't keep us safe from shit. If anything, the military is very complicit in the things that are keeping us down, especially when it comes to technology. And you're going to see more of that in the years to come, full force. That's why you have to have a relationship with the Most High, because when the shit hits the fan in this country, a lot of the military is going to turn. Some of them. Most of them are going to go along with the agenda in trying to completely annihilate you and enslave you, more than what we already enslaved now. So when it comes to the 4th of July, brothers and sisters, there's so much history behind it. Like this illusion of signing a paper that they didn't even come up with. Melanated people came up with this. Melanated people that were here for thousands of years. That's another thing people don't understand, is that there were black people in this country that we now call America. They were here for thousands of years, living in peace and harmony. Yeah, they had their battles, but there was a certain structure and order in the way we operated, because they were utilizing spiritual principles. But because of recompensation and because of the covenant and the disrespect for the covenant and the disrespect for the Most High, melanated people on all 4 corners of the planet had to get some fucking whip ass. They had to get their ass spanked. And they got their ass spanked for over 500 years. And the 400-year mark, which ended in 2019, has now shifted everything. But even though things have shifted and the term of enslavement is officially over, all it's done is make Satan go into hyperdrive, into bringing more systematic, malevolent control over the world. And that's what you're seeing now in this country. You're seeing Sodom and Gomorrah go on steroids, right? Especially with the Alphabet Gang. It's just pure fucking treachery to the highest level, especially when it comes to our children. But when it comes to this country, you're just seeing so much bullshit. You're seeing so much treachery and wickedness just being conveyed and displayed everywhere, all throughout the 50 plus states. It's amazing. But it is what it is. This has all been written, right? And this is all part of the days of revelations that we are in the beginning stages of. This country has nothing to celebrate. Nothing. And you've heard me say this before. There is nothing great about the United States, nor will there ever be anything great about this place. Ever. The only thing that is great about the Americas is the people, the few chosen that live here. That's it. That's what makes this place great. And the chosen people that have now passed. That's it. There's nothing great about this place, people. It fucking sucks. So I would definitely question, if you're somebody listening to this podcast, that if you're out there celebrating this paganistic holiday that is really serving your destruction. Even if you're a so-called white person, you shouldn't be celebrating this, because this country doesn't give a fuck about you neither. The people that run this country don't give a fuck about you. And that has been made clear and evident ever since January 2020. And it's called the pandemic. The pandemic woke up a lot of so-called white people to the realization that This country don't give a fuck about you. The people that run it don't give a rat's ass. You're next on the chopping block. You've always been on the chopping block. It just wasn't widespread and it wasn't televised. But you didn't mean shit either. You just meant a little bit more than a person who was of a darker complexion than you. That's it. But now, with the science appliance, like, you know, white people are like, oh shit, they don't give a fuck about us. They're taking us out left and right. The science appliance has taken out a lot of white people in this country, and so has the fucking opioid crisis. The only difference is that with the opioid crisis, there's been a lot of support, a lot of rehab centers that have been posting up everywhere to help white people try to overcome this curse that they can't seem to shake off. But when the crack epidemic came, nobody gave a rat's fucking ass. What they do, they put our brothers and sisters in jail, and they put our kids into fucking foster homes. And that's one of the main reasons why a lot of our people are so fucked up present day in this new fucking distorted culture that we're experiencing. It's because of the crack epidemic. The crack epidemic killed so many of our brothers and sisters. All right. I seen it destroy some of my family completely, along with AIDS through the heroin epidemic. And now here we are, that same tragedy and travesties and curses are now befalling on so-called white people in America. And you got people still wanting to celebrate this fucking whack-ass holiday. And as I'm talking, they're blowing fireworks right now. They love blowing fireworks all year round in Florida, but especially around this time of year. But the reality is, people, that most people are so fucking stupid, they're not going to want to even understand this information that I'm talking about today when it comes to the 4th of July. There is nothing to celebrate here. This is one of the worst fucking paganistic holidays ever created. It's all based on a long legacy of lies. So let's take another brief intromission, and I'll be right back.
This shit, me, brick by brick, and I'll be damned if I let you tear it down just cause you don't like the way another nigga talk.
In the mix.
are now tuned in to the Network of Awareness.
My crown I can't lose, Yahweh I choose. Allergic to the wicked, it makes me go at you. Remember when I was hurting, broken without you? I was searching for something higher than the words of fools. Behold, you led me to Yasha al-Karal, liberated from believing the name was Jesus and God. Here I am, years later, still pushing hard. You never left my side, homies, wherever you are, holding on. For dear life, the old me's long gone, but residuals of the individual prolongs. But I'm still here, demons I'm fencing, holding up my defenses on guard. I'll be a goner if it weren't for you, oh Elohim, King of Kings, Alpha Omega, first and last, creator of everything. Forever your name reigns supreme.
That's all it takes to know that you will guide my path. Open doors, make a way, because you and the love you have for me is clearly shown. It's not the praises of man, it's the works of your hand. I know that I'm not alone.
Shalom, walking a life under the dome. So much chaos in the world going on. If you ever had doubt that made you feel alone, remember that the Most High watching from the throne. Since my younger days, I was trying to buck up, took the wrong path, and I remember when I fucked up, running with police and the thought of being cuffed up, trying to give me 5 years like tough luck. Calls from jail, no one picking up the phone. Pops funny answer, yo, you on your own. Feelings betray me like damn, I'm alone. The past was laid out that the Most High shown. Finally, I was going home. Universal rap, high frequency tone. 1/3 with a light could pick a bone. Wait for the day for Yah to bring us home.
That's all it takes to know that you will guide my path. Open doors, make a way, because you and the love you have for me is clearly shown. It's not the praises of man, it's the works of your hand. I know that I'm not alone.
Life is an unpredictable and amazing journey. Our ever-changing conditions within today's society and the constant new trends influencing cultures can become overwhelming, to say the least. But no worries. The Network of Awareness podcast radio show brings peace of mind in these challenging times. Follow us on your favorite podcast listening app and join our community of Network of Awareness at networkofawareness.com. Yeah. That's how we do it. I'm glad that this distortion that I was experiencing is finally over, man. Where there's a will, there's a way, right? So back to the topic at hand, people. This whole thing with independence and why I named it independent from what? It goes a lot deeper. Because what are we really independent from? Are we truly independent from Mother England, Great Britain? No. That's a lie. But I also believe there's even a deeper meaning to this. I think that when it comes to the ideology and the principles that this country was founded on, and the principles that it's now following, and the culture in which it's adhering to, you know what it's trying to make you independent from? This country wants you to be independent from the Most High. The Luciferian doctrine that many of people are following and this way this country is guided, it's all off of Luciferian principles. And it's Satan's way of trying to get you independent and free from the Most High. It wants you to be responsible for making yourself independent from the Most High. And when a lot of us start thinking where we are our own gods and that, you know, we have this atheist mindset like many people here in this country have, they've been very successful in making you become independent from the Most High. That's the true independence that they want you to follow. They want you to follow that doctrine. And as you see the United Serpents of America becoming more and more and more like Sodom and Gomorrah, Well, what did Sodom and Gomorrah represent? Sodom and Gomorrah represented becoming independent from the Most High. And that's why that fucking place burned to the fucking ground, because the Most High said, oh, you want to be independent from me? I'm going to let you rock for a little bit. And after a while, I'm going to get tired of the bullshit. And boom, it was done. Over. Want to give a shout out to all the brothers and sisters in the chat room. Shout outs to Sister Danita. Shout outs to Sister Brittany again. Thank you for joining. Shout outs to Brother Mauricio. I see you in the chat. Alkaline J, Brother Jacob, Mr. Webb, Brother Cook, Brother Levi. Nice to see you again, Brother Levi. Thanks for all joining this chat room on this paganistic holiday that none of us are celebrating. So I'm glad you chose to come on to the Network of Awareness on the 4th of July. But the reality is this, people, there's nothing to celebrate here. And I want you to understand that as for all you people that swear you love the Most High, for all you Christians that say, oh, I love God and all that, you shouldn't be celebrating shit when it comes to the 4th of July. There shouldn't be no fucking cupcakes that are red, white, and blue in your house. You shouldn't be grilling saying, hey, happy 4th of July. Let's light up some fireworks and fuck this place up. You shouldn't be saying none of that shit. You shouldn't be doing none of that activity, because this date is just nothing more but a representation of becoming independent from the Most High, which really is supportive of the ego. And like my brother Will told me a long, long time ago, ego represents edging God out. All right. And you cannot edge the Most High out your life, because if you do, you are fucked. And this date is nothing but a great representation of that. So I want you to think closely about that, especially you people that have celebrated this shit this year. You better think twice about celebrating it next year. If not, then it's on you. It's on you if you want to continue to support the legacy of lies when it comes to this country and when it comes to this so-called fucking bullshit Independence Day. All right? Everything when it comes to holidays in this country is ritualistic, and it's nothing but to serve Satan. It's to serve a demonic agenda, because it's the very demonic agenda that it serves is what built this country off the backs of melanated people from all four corners of the planet. It's just a fact. And whether you want to believe that to be a true or not, it doesn't fucking matter, because it is the truth. Whether you believe that the sun rises in the east or not doesn't matter, because it's still going to rise in the fucking east, whether you like it or not. So when it comes to Independence Day, keep in mind that there is nothing to celebrate here. There is nothing. It's all a lie. And as a messenger, I'm going to keep exposing the lies so that you can better understand the truth. And when it comes to the 4th of July, there is no truth. The truth is that it's just a representation and a celebration and a veneration of Satan. And trying to make you believe something that's not true, because that's what Satan is. He's the father of lies. So brothers and sisters, that's all I have for today when it comes to the 4th of July. Don't celebrate it, brothers and sisters. Fuck this date. To me, this is Monday. This is Most High Monday. So happy Most High Monday, because that's what I could say happy to. Happy Most High Monday, brothers and sisters. And I hope that you enjoy your Most High Monday as you should. But don't celebrate this holiday. Right now, around this time of year, during this weekend, I would be celebrating this with like my cousins and going to barbecue and drink and get fucked up and, play dominoes and shit like that. But those days have been long over for me, man. And I don't miss them. I don't miss them at all. I want to make that very clear. I don't miss celebrating not one paganistic holiday. I don't miss celebrating Christmas, Thanksgiving, Easter, fucking 4th of July, none of it. I don't miss lighting fireworks up or anything like that. All right. I'd rather do something meaningful and something that gives praise to the Most High on any given day, especially on days like today. So I say all praise to the Most High. And may you brothers and sisters stay safe in these times of wickedness that we live in and these days of revelations, because it's only going to get worse before it even can possibly get better. But this country will fall. There's not going to be many more Independence Days for this country. Not much more, people. Keep that in mind. So with that being said, brothers and sisters, I want to say thank you again for joining me on this live broadcast. And, like I always say, when you live in the present, there is always an opportunity for a new beginning. And don't look for the light at the end of the tunnel, because the light is and always will be within you. So light up the tunnel and find your way through the darkness. This is all the information list from the Network of Awareness, saying peace, love, and light. And Barakatah, brothers and sisters. All praise to the Most High. Happy Most High Mondays.
Concludes the Network of Awareness podcast. For more information on the Network of Awareness, please subscribe via email to our website, networkofawareness.com, and follow us on Spreaker.com or any other listening apps you use. For any questions about the NOA, email us at ORRA@networkofawareness.com. Thank you for listening to one of the fastest growing podcast shows on society and culture in America and abroad. When you live in the present, there's always an opportunity for a new beginning.